The Light of Kochab. While we drove, Guang groaned and gesticulated at the dashboard cameras. He slapped his knees, waved at the feed, leaned his helmet toward mine as if to share his frustration through the glass. But I'd made my position clear a long time ago, and every time the conversation turned to the Indian team, I went bronze and cold. I was born on the station. Out there, the only division that meant anything was between the living and the dead. "They grabbed the wires," he said. "Electrocuted themselves." I adjusted the image filter to compensate for Kochab's glare. The star sat on the ecliptic in a way that meant it was always there, wherever we landed on this hemisphere. A permanent white blaze, so intense you could only look at it through a camera or a visor on full auto shade. It occurred to me that Guang spent a lot of energy resenting the Indian crew and very little maintaining the software that was supposed to handle exactly this problem. But pointing that out would have been too reasonable for a human being. "All of them?" "All," he confirmed. "I watched them chewing on the cables. From boredom, I think." I sighed. The whole expedition felt like it had been born from boredom. The galleon had been drifting in Kochab's orbit for 2 months while survey work crawled forward, and the ship's quantum navigation computer worked through calculations that no human brain could follow. Even on the surface, through the vacuum and the rock, you could almost hear it ticking toward its eureka. We were close enough to packing up that the Gypsum 1 advance team had received the order to start dismantling. There wasn't much to dismantle. 2 geological outposts at a distance from each other, and a dome observatory for monitoring Kochab, the local center of the universe, as far as this system was concerned. The outpost team had pulled out 2 weeks ago. The observatory crew of 5 had stayed behind to prep the dome for transport. They'd reported minor malfunctions and a failed autoshade, but sounded calm. Routine work. 2 days ago, they'd stopped responding. A test pulse confirmed their receiver was functional. They just weren't picking up. Now one of them was standing 40 meters from the dome, motionless, facing our direction, as if waiting to be spotted from orbit. "Someone's outside," Guang said. "I see them." The observatory dome, autoshade retracted, looked like a miniature on an oversized display stand. The stand was white, featureless, unfinished in the way of planets nobody has had time to annotate. Against the fisheye of the dome, the lone figure was comprehensively small. No context, no legend. Kochab's light was colorless, transparent, like boiled water, flattening everything into a simulation texture. I tried the radio. "This is Crawler Kappa. Do you copy? Who's outside?" Nothing. The dark circle of the visor didn't move. "Something happened," I said. We stopped the crawler 5 meters out. Guang jumped down first and crossed to the figure quickly. "Hey, why are you out here? Why aren't you answering calls? Talk to me!" He gave the figure a firm push on the shoulder. It toppled. Straight back, arms out, landing flat like it had been waiting for exactly that. Guang called me over and crouched down. I crossed the pale surface at a run. "Vitals," he muttered, checking the suit's external monitor. "Normal, normal, normal, normal. He's conscious if I'm still a doctor." "Which I am! You—" He shook the figure again. "Are you faking? Answer me!" I found the name tag. Dalmia. "Dalmia, if you understand us, raise your hand." Nothing. "Catatonia," Guang announced. "Acute stupor." "Why?" "Get him in the crawler. Move!" We carried the unresisting engineer back to the vehicle and drove to the dome. Guang sent a report ahead to the outpost for relay to the galleon. "Anyone else visible near the dome?" he asked. "Not that I can see. I've checked suit beacons. The other 4 are inside." I wouldn't be surprised if one of these idiots went outside without a helmet. naked. That was impossible, but what we had found was already disturbing enough that my mind had gone to the obvious dark place. Someone in the crew had broken down and hurt the others. Worst case. But I said it. We should restrain him. Guang looked at the figure on the crawler cot. Dalmia lay with the boneless stillness of something that had stopped trying. He looked more helpless than dangerous. "We'll secure him when we get inside," Guang said. "I'll watch him. You find the others." They hadn't fixed the autoshade. The dome's interior was Kochab lit, meaning it was viciously bright, every surface bleached, shadows either non-existent or geometric and absolute. We'd set our visors to maximum shade just to see properly. In the prep room, I pulled up the activity logs on the wall terminal, running on its own battery. "Only one suit left the dome," I said. "The others are still here." "Not answering?" "No." "This whole thing disgusts me, Seslav. If this is a pathogen..." He stopped. "What's this?" He was trying to detach Dalmia's helmet and failing. Not a malfunction. The seal had been fused from outside. Something had been applied to the lock mechanism, bonding it shut. "It's not broken," I said, examining it. "It's been sealed deliberately, from the outside." Guang straightened, pushed the stool back, and sat. He rubbed his hands together with a focused displeasure that I recognized as his pre-decision state. "Fine. We tie him down, find the others. Agreed?" We used a length of power cable from the supply room, plenty of it, and secured Dalmia to the cot. Then we went into the dome. Several telescopes stood frozen on their rails. One had been unmounted and left on the floor beside a powered-down workstation. The small hydroponics bay had been stripped out. Only a single cube remained, leaves yellowed, thin as paper. Everything intact, everything untouched. The light flattened the room into a scene from a training simulation. Too clear, too still, impossible to read. "Hello?" I said quietly, before I could stop myself. Guang prodded me in the back. "There," I pointed. Near the equipment recycler, a figure in a suit stood with its back to us. As I took a step toward it, it slowly bent at the knees and went down. Same way Dalmia had fallen. Same total absence of resistance. "Sealed here too," Guang said, checking the lock. He stood, positioned himself, and delivered a full kick to the figure's chest. The suit absorbed it like a bag of wet sand. Nothing. "Was that a medical intervention?" I asked. "I'm washing my hands of this," he said, ignoring me. He looked at the cot in the prep room and at the body on the floor. "I'll take this one back. You look for the others." "All right." I moved toward the living quarters, past workstations, instrument panels, storage racks. All normal, all undisturbed, all wrong in the way anything human-made looks wrong when it's been separated from human presence. I was conscious of the feeling, but tried not to let it in. Objects serve people. People serve other people and themselves. Keep that orientation, and the objects stay objects. I passed a thermal mug left on an analyzer housing and felt the specific dread of things abandoned mid-use. What winds carved it from sandstone? What tectonic pressures extruded it from the earth? I looked at my own hand and had the same feeling. A five-pointed thing moving through a universe it was never designed for. The moment stretched, broke, continued. It was someone else's feet that brought me back. A figure hanging from a power cable looped through a service duct. No suit, The person was in base layer thermals, feet dangling in the reduced gravity, swaying very slightly. Guang! Guang, there's a body in here! I grabbed the legs without thinking, lifted, creating slack. In this gravity, it wasn't difficult. The cable was knotted and re-knotted in ways that suggested time and deliberation. Guang! Running steps behind me. I found a ladder, climbed, and cut the cable. The body dropped with a dull sound. Guang arrived as I came back down. Eyes are sealed, he said, crouching. Expanding foam compound applied to the eye sockets. Then how did he rig the cable? I don't know. He spread a piece of insulating sheet over the body. Covered, it stopped existing. The way covered things stop existing when you're trained to need the covering. First and second are also gone, Guang said quietly. I tried to revive them. Asphyxia. They sealed their own oxygen intakes with the same compound. I didn't notice in time. I'm sorry. I was quiet for a few seconds. There was nothing you would have done differently. I could have cut the compound. Nothing cuts that compound. No, he agreed. It's structural grade. Permanent. I checked my own oxygen concentrator from Reflex. 82% full. Enough for 10 hours on reserve if I disconnected the main feed. If we'd come sooner. Get up. We need to find the last two. The living quarters were dark, generators running at 1/10 capacity. After Kochab's surface glare, the sudden dimness felt like blindness. One crew member was secured to a bunk with oxygen lines tied around the wrists and ankles, face sealed with foam. The locks on the seal were intact. Whoever had done this had done it from outside the suit, to someone incapacitated. Or cooperative. I didn't let myself finish that thought. The fifth was at a work table. He was in his base layer trousers, no suit jacket, no suit. He'd gone blue from cold. The generators had been running at survival minimum for long enough. His eyes were open and clear, not sealed, not foamed, just empty in the way eyes go empty when the person behind them has moved on. He didn't seal himself, Guang said. Hypothermia. He was lucid when it happened. He knew. I searched the table. Nothing. No message, no record, no note. The cleanliness of it was more disturbing than any of the rest. There's nothing here. No, Guang agreed. Silence is always the worst. I sat on the bunk across from the table. My thoughts had gone strange and soft at the edges in a way I didn't like. You know, I said, we haven't been here long, and I already feel like something's loosened in my head. Like I don't quite know who I am. Don't you lose it too, Cheslav. I won't. I took a breath, real air, cold and thin, pulled myself back to the fixed point of the task. Let's wait for the relief team here, in the dark. Guang didn't argue. The light of Kochab, colorless and total, couldn't reach us in here. For the first time since we'd landed, I was glad of the dark.